You know that nightmare moment, feet down at a red light, a tiny wobble turns into a full-on tip, and everyone's staring. Here's the truth. Most low-speed, I'm not skilled enough drops aren't lack of talent. They're tiny technique mistakes that stack up. Today I'll show you 5 balanced mistakes that can bite even experienced riders. Fix them, and your bike suddenly feels calm and predictable. And there's one core principle that ties them all together and solves most wobbles instantly. Stay for that, because once it clicks, slow speed control gets easy. Mistake number 1, the death grip disaster. When riders get nervous, they choke the bars. It feels safer, but rigid arms are how every bump, wobble, and head twitch goes straight into the steering. The bike wants to self-stabilize, your white-knuckle grip blocks that. The thing most people miss is this. A locked upper body turns you into a steering damper in the worst way. Every micro input you make feeds a bigger reaction. Here's what works. Think piano hands. Hold with intent, but keep your fingers and wrists relaxed, like you're playing keys. Firm enough to control, loose enough to glide. Elbows slightly bent, shoulders down, wrists in line with the forearms. Now shift your support to your core and legs. Grip the tank lightly with your knees and hinge a touch at the hips. This takes weight off your hands so the bars can float and the front tire can track without fighting you. Let me show you exactly how to feel it. In an empty lot, ride in a straight line at walking pace. Light throttle, clutch in the friction zone. Now relax your hands until you can just wiggle your fingers while holding the line. If the bike wobbles, don't clamp down. Squeeze the tank with your knees and breathe out. The wobble usually fades because you stop feeding it. Common mistake, riders relax by opening their grip but keep locked elbows. Soften the elbows first. If you remember nothing else, it's this. Hold the bike with your body, not the bars. Mistake number 2, the ground stare. New riders fixate on the front wheel or the exact thing they're scared of. The curb, the cone, the pothole. Your brain aims the bike with your eyes so you drift where you look. And when you stare down, your head bobs, your inner ear gets noisy, and your whole body starts to hunt for balance the hard way. Why this matters? Your head is a heavy pendulum on top of the system. If it's not level, everything below compensates. Eyes down equals head tilting, shoulders collapsing, hands tightening. That cascades into bar inputs you didn't mean to make. The better method is the horizon technique. Eyes up, soft focus far ahead, and look through the turn, past the obstacle, toward your exit. Keep your head level with the horizon and rotate it to see the path. The reason this works is simple. Stable visual input calms your vestibular system. Calm inner ear, calm body, smooth hands. Smooth hands, steady bike. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches early enough. Lead with the chin. Wherever your chin points, your eyes go, your shoulders follow, and the bike traces the line. So when you set up for a U-turn, turn your head first, pick a spot across the arc, and keep your eyes laser locked on that destination. Don't glance back at the front wheel. Trust your peripheral vision for what's near. Aim your focus for where you want to be. Practical drill you can try today. Set 2 cones 10 feet apart. Ride a slow S-turn, but exaggerate your head movement. As you approach the first cone, turn your head fully to the gap beyond the second cone. Keep your chin pointed there until you pass it. You'll notice your hands quietly follow and the bike leans cleanly. Real-world application, tight parking rows and gas station exits. Instead of staring at the bumper you fear or the oil stain by your front tire, snap your head up to the clear lane you're taking. Keep your head level, eyes high, and you'll glide through with fewer mid-corner corrections. Now here's where most people mess up. They peek down mid-turn just to check. That single glance tenses the body and invites a wobble. Commit to eyes up. Once you nail that, everything else clicks because vision drives balance before your hands ever get involved. Mistake number 3, the foot dangle trap. At walking pace, a lot of riders start paddling like they're on a bicycle. It feels like backup balance, but it's actually making you less stable. The second your feet leave the pegs, you lose your primary balance sensors and control points. Peg pressure, rear brake finesse, and the ability to counterbalance. Duck walking turns your body into dead weight and your controls into on-off switches. Here's the thing most people miss. Your feet are not training wheels. Your pegs are your balance platform. With your feet on the pegs, you can load the outside peg to counterbalance, feel micro changes in lean, and instantly modulate rear brake and clutch. With your feet dangling, you're late on every correction and you steer with panic arms. So what should you do? Keep both feet on the pegs and let the bike lean under you while your torso stays more upright. That's counterbalancing at low speed. Shift a little weight to the outside peg in tight turns, keep your head level, and look through the turn like we covered earlier. This creates a stable triangle, pegs and core. Your hands simply guide, not hold you up. Now the power combo, steady throttle, clutch in the friction zone, and light rear brake drag. The rear brake is your slow speed stabilizer. It resists forward lurches and tightens the chassis, so the bike feels planted while you creep. Hold a slightly elevated idle or a hair of throttle, find the friction zone, and feather the rear brake to set pace. You'll notice your balance improves instantly when you stop walking the bike and start riding it. Try this drill. In a parking lot, set two cones 18 feet apart for a U-turn. Start wider than you think. Feet glued to pegs, eyes up to your exit, outside peg loaded, slight rear brake, and keep the clutch just slipping. Let the bike lean inside while you stay tall. If you feel it tipping, do not throw a foot. Add a whisper of throttle, ease more friction zone, and keep dragging rear brake. 9 times out of 10, the bike stands back up because you gave it drive instead of quitting on it. Common mistake, hovering a foot just in case. That hover makes you tense, steals peg feedback, and delays your brake and clutch use. Commit to pegs. If you must put a foot down, do it deliberately and square, then reset and go again. But aim for feet up in motion. Once you feel the peg pressure feedback loop, slow speed turns stop scaring you because you're finally using the controls that stabilize the bike. Mistake number 4. Front brake panic. Grabbing a handful of front brake at a crawl is the fast track to a nosedive and a tip over. At low speed, there isn't much suspension or geometry stability to buffer abrupt weight transfer. A sharp front squeeze pitches weight onto the front tire, collapses the fork, steepens rake, and makes the bike twitchy. Add a turned handlebar and you've just invited the classic parking lot drop. The reason this bites so many riders is instinct. You see a car inch out or a cone looming, and your hand shoots for the strongest brake. But low speed is a different world. You don't need big stopping force. You need composure. The front brake, applied abruptly, upsets composure. The rear brake, applied lightly, manages pace while keeping the chassis settled. The better method is the slow-speed trifecta: steady throttle, clutch in the friction zone, and gentle rear brake drag. Think of the rear brake like a tensioner. It resists forward surge and keeps the bike loaded, so when you crack the bars at full lock or feather the clutch, nothing lurches. The front stays light, the geometry stays predictable, and the bike tracks where your eyes are pointing. Let me show you exactly how to wire this in. Find an empty lot and set a line of 5 cones 12 feet apart. Ride alongside at walking speed with your head up. Keep a small, steady throttle. Ease the clutch to the friction zone so the bike wants to roll. Now add a constant, light rear brake drag to set the creep. Use the clutch to make micro speed changes, not the front brake. If you need to slow more, add a touch more rear brake while keeping the throttle steady. You should feel a smooth, elastic control. No head nods, no jolts. Common scenario, you're mid-U-turn and feel too fast. Most riders chop the throttle and grab front brake. The bike dives, the bar tucks, and down you go. Instead, keep the throttle stable, increase rear brake pressure slightly, and feed in a hair more clutch slip. The bike slows without pitching, holds lean, and finishes the arc. That one change saves more mirrors than anything else. Now here's where most people mess up. They test the front brake lightly and get away with it, so they keep using it until the day it bites. Set a rule for yourself. Below jogging pace, and especially with the bar turned, front brake is off limits unless the bike is upright and straight. If you must use it, be feather light and progressive with the bar straightened. A micro story. A student kept dropping her cruiser in a figure 8. Every time she felt hot, she pinched the front lever. We swapped that habit for a steady 2,000 RPM, friction zone, and rear brake drag. First pass, no dive. Third pass, clean eights. The difference wasn't bravery, it was removing the pitch that triggered panic. If you remember nothing else here, it's this. Rear brake is your slow speed stability tool. The front is your stopping power tool. Use each where it shines and your low speed balance problems shrink fast. Mistake number 5. The clutch stall, wobble jerky. On-off clutch work is the silent killer of balance. You feel the bike bog, you panic, you dump the clutch or whack the throttle, and the chassis lurches. That surge forward then die rhythm makes the front nod, the bars twitch, and your feet start searching for the ground. Now here's where most people mess up. They treat the clutch like a switch. At low speed, it's a volume knob. Why this matters? Smooth, continuous drive is what stabilizes the bike at a crawl. Starve the rear wheel of torque, and the bike tips. Feed it in too fast, and the weight slams backward, then rebounds forward when you chop it. The fix is living in the friction zone. That's the sweet spot where the clutch is partially engaged and the engine's torque is metered to the rear wheel without stalling. Let me show you exactly how to feel it. In neutral, note your idle. Now click into first, add a hair of throttle, just above idle, and slowly release the lever until the bike wants to creep without any extra gas. That's your friction bite. Hold it there. Your left fingers become a stabilizer, tiny in, tiny out, to keep speed butter smooth. Keep the right wrist steady. Modulate speed with clutch and rear brake, not with big throttle chops. Throttle coordination is simple once it clicks. Pick a steady RPM you can hear and maintain it. Then ride the gap with the clutch. Too fast? Ease the lever in slightly and add a whisper more rear brake. Too slow? Let the lever out a few millimeters. Avoid the common mistake of rolling off the throttle when you pull the clutch. Keep that soundtrack constant. Drill time. Set a 50-foot straight. Ride at walking pace with a stable 2,000 to 2,500 RPM. Clutch in the friction zone and light rear brake drag. Your goal? No head bob, no lurches. When you can do that, add a slow S-turn with the same control. If you feel a stall coming, don't dump it. Clutch in a touch, add a breath of throttle, and keep your eyes up. Each smooth pass wires confidence into your hands. If you remember nothing else, it's this. Steady RPM, friction zone alive, and rear brake is the metronome. That trio kills the stall wobble for good. Everything we fixed today points to one core principle. Keep the chassis calm while you steer with your eyes and support with your core and pegs. Do that, and slow speed stops being scary. Your challenge this week: find an empty lot and run 3 sets. Piano hands, straight line creep, eyes up U-turns with feet on pegs, and friction zone plus rear brake figure eights. 10 minutes per set, no shortcuts, no front brake with bars turn. If this saved you a mirror or your pride, subscribe for more life-saving riding secrets.